your sunshine, I'll be your love, I'll be your sunshine, I'll be your love, I'll be your sunshine, I'll be your love, I'll be your love, I'll be your sunshine. You see the sea, I'll see the sunshine, I'll be your love, I'll be your sunshine, shine, shine.
History being made in beautiful Whitehorse, the first ever CEBL broadcast from up north as tip-off just moments away between the Saskatoon Mamba and the Calgary Surge. I'm Salim Balaji. Thanks so much for joining us if you're on CEBL Plus and CBC Sports platforms. But this is more than just a Friday night basketball game. It is a celebration of basketball and community. There's been all sorts of things with the Takini Arena, a quintessentially Canadian location. There's been a coaches clinic, a 3-on-3 tournament, and so much more. With more in the moment here in Whitehorse, I'll turn it over to Ryan Flaherty and Eric Megdans. Guys?
Thank you so much, Salim. Yes, it is an exciting time here. When we first learned that the CEBL was going to come to Yukon territory, the initial reaction was one of surprise, followed immediately by excitement. It is no small undertaking to stage the first ever pro basketball game here in Canada's North, but the buzz that has been building since it was announced, which has reached a fever pitch here in the last week, goes to show that the work is worth it to bring fans here a taste of the high-level hoops that CEBL fans have come to enjoy since 2019. It is a special moment for everyone involved, but at the heart of it, there is still an important game to be won here as we're entering the final month of the regular season. The playoff races are heating up, and Eric, both of these teams are looking to get their game on track.
Yeah, basketball is a game of momentum, and both of these teams are searching for it right now. Calgary's a perennial powerhouse, but hasn't found their footing yet this season, while Mamba have seen both sides of the coin with a 4-game winning streak earlier this season, but are currently in the midst of a 3-game losing streak. The defensive end has been a key point for both teams all season long, with a big point this season and a big point with both these coaches. It's been a really important part, and hopefully this is a great opportunity to propel them into the final month of the season.
Yeah, absolutely, Eric. It is crazy to think that we're into that exactly 1 month from today will be the final regular season games here in the CEBL. So a lot at stake, and of course in the West things are tightening up. As we'll get through the broadcast tonight, we will update you on that playoff race. But of course these teams, as you said, trying to find some things that are working for them. As we take a look at the stats from tonight's game, both of these teams have some strengths, but also some issues they're trying to clean up.
Yeah, big thing tonight will be the three-point shooting. It's the most identifiable stat on the stat sheet. The Mamba being one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league, while the Surge being the worst. The Surge have some great athletes looking to attack the rim, but shooting not necessarily their game. The other key thing, rebounding. Taking care of the ball, rebounding, getting on the glass.
All right, well, it looks like Solomon is standing by with Mamba head coach Isaiah Fox, so let us send it over to him now.
Coach, what are you thinking going into this matchup? Two teams that have struggled a little bit. What are your thoughts coming into tonight?
Well, listen, it's an important test for both teams, absolutely, and it's a great atmosphere here. I think the records kind of go out the window. It's our rivalry, and I know for us, it's about us, and we're trying to get better. So we don't really concentrate on their record. it's more about us trying to get better and stopping them.
And how do you prepare for a stretch run? We're in the final few weeks of the regular season, hope to make the playoffs. What are you doing to prepare for that?
Yeah, just kind of what I just said. Really looking forward to a constant improvement. 10 games left in the season. There's definitely some details that we got to get better at, and hopefully we highlighted that after we prepare for this game.
And lastly, just your thoughts on the atmosphere here in Whitehorse and what you've seen so far.
Yeah, so far it's amazing. I never thought I'd be coaching a game in the Yukon. I feel really blessed to be here. The community been great, and as you can see, there's a lot of people here to watch a basketball game.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're watching the CEBL on CBC Sports, YouTube, CBC Gem, and CBS.
It's their limit.
Hello, Canada. Welcome to a new CEBL season.
It's been amazing, Canada basketball, to put that platform and give guys an out.
The crowds were bigger, the players got better, the quality of the game got better.
You gotta love it, Canadian Goose.
Fasten your seatbelt tonight because we're going to have some high energy and some high flying stuff.
This is the trail. This is the real. It's all that I gotta say. I'm in my zone.
No shortage of emotion, no shortage of intensity as anticipated.
Sliding away. What a block from behind.
You don't just fuel your body, you fuel your drive. We're not here to preach hustle. We're here for the ones who show up. You know who you are. The moms who make mornings feel like magic. The runners lacing up before the scroll. The dreamers writing it down before it's real. And we're here for you. Real fruit, real fuel. Booster Juice. Fuel for what's next.
What keeps me going? Under the heat of the sun, or in the heat of the moment. When climbing for even one more second seems like too much. Whether you're reaching for your goal or busy setting new ones, everyone hits their limit, but that limit has a reset. Scientifically formulated to hydrate faster in the moments that matter. Electrolyte, instant hydration.
Welcome back inside Zucchini Arena. We are up north in the Yukon right now. Very excited to bring you tonight's game between the Saskatoon Mamba and the Calgary Surge. We are just a few moments away from tip-off, so let's get to the tail of the tape. Eric, you have identified some keys for tonight's game presented by CDIC. Let's start with the visiting Calgary Surge.
Yeah, a couple keys to the game tonight for the Surge. The first one being control the glass. They're not a particularly great rebounding team, and the Mamba are a good offensive rebounding team. Being able to control the glass and, more importantly, keep the Mamba off the offensive glass is going to be an absolute key. Second one being guard the three. We've touched on this already. The Mamba are a great three-point shooting team, second highest percentage in the league, and take the most threes in the league, so it's a good strategy for them. Surge need to control that. And finally, attack the paint. They've got some great athletes on this Surge team, and one of the best ways to improve your shooting percentage is to take the best shot possible, and that's by getting the ball into the paint.
Great stuff. All right, let's turn our focus to the Mamba, who, yes, are the home team tonight, despite the Surge logo on the floor, which we'll explain a little bit later on. But, Eric, what are the keys to the game for the Mamba presented by CDIC?
Yeah, tonight the Mamba have to value every possession. The last couple games, they've had some really great points. They've also had some low points. It's about valuing that possession every single time down the floor. Secondly, share the ball. It's been a huge point for Coach Fox all season. They had their best game they played this year was in Niagara, where they had the most assists, and that's where Coach Fox loved it. And the third thing was being defend with purpose. Every single possession, they need to defend with purpose.
All righty, so that's what we'll be looking for here tonight. Let's take a look at those starting lineups just moments before tip-off. And it's been pretty consistent for the starting five for the Mamba, as they're going with the same group we've seen for the last few games. Jalen Williams, Tavian Dunn-Martin, Devontae Bandu, Jaden Bediako, and Tevian Jones, who has taken over the team scoring lead here, just shy of 20 points per game. As for the Calgary Surge, the mainstay, Ruggsy Miller-Moore, anchoring their starting five, alongside the newcomer, David Joplin, Armani Chaney, Adonis Arms, and the big man, Javonte Brown. Eric, you've outlined a player to watch from each team, so let's start with your pick for the Surge.
Yeah, tonight, key player for me tonight is Armani Chaney. He's the connector of this group. He came in partway through the season after starting this year in Winnipeg and has been a great connector. Shares the ball, can score it as well, has hit their one target score winner that they've had this season, but averaging 15 points a game and most importantly, 6 assists a game.
All right, good stuff. And for the Mamba, your player to watch, the guy I just mentioned has taken over the lead in points per game on this team. It's Tevian Jones, who's on a bit of a hot streak right now.
Yeah, Tevian Jones has been really great over probably the last 10 games here. He's found his stride. He's a great athlete, can get up and down the floor, really fits into Coach Fox's style, and he's a big, long athlete who has the ability to really defend the floor and try to control some of these athletes for the Surge.
Tremendous atmosphere here in Whitehorse. It's a packed house here at Takini Arena. They were lined up well out the door an hour before game time here tonight. The excitement is palpable, and we're certainly part of that because I can barely contain myself. This is such a cool opportunity for these players, for the officials, for the fans, for the broadcast, everyone involved. It's going to be a lot of fun here tonight, and we're just about to get it going. Of course, as always, the opening tip-off is presented by Spalding, the official game ball of the CEBL. Canada flags handed out to every fan before this one. It's a celebration of one of the biggest sports in all of the world, and certainly here in Canada. And Canada's Pro Basketball League, fans on their feet to get this one started. National pride on full display here on the hardwood in Yukon territory as pro basketball comes to Whitehorse for the first time. We're ready to go. At center circle, Javonte Brown, Jaden Bediako, the tip controlled by the Calgary Surge, and we are underway on this historic night here in Whitehorse. Armani Chaney, the Mamba have seen him in a Winnipeg uniform already this year. Over to Joplin, his first take comes up short, and the Mamba on the run. Bediako down the lane, big contact. And an awkward fall here for the Mamba big man, who is going to get a couple free throws. But the question now, as he continues to lay prone on the floor, is will he be able to shoot them himself? Joplin came in to contest that shot. And, well, what did you see there, Eric?
Yeah, great run by the Mamba getting out in transition. Jaden did a great job of being an impact on the defense, but then also being the first big down the floor there. Tough challenge at the rim. Unfortunately, that's one of the risks with having such great athletes on the floor is they're a little higher than you and I would be, Ryan, and unfortunately that makes the fall just that much harder.
Yep, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, that's for sure. Well, the first foul of the game will give us an opportunity to introduce you to our officiating crew here tonight. The crew chief is Perry Stothert, the umpires Trevor West and Matt Goebel. And Jaden Bediako with the first ever point of a professional basketball game here in the north. And Bediako, as the free throw shooting continues to improve. And as a team, the Mamba are starting to pick things up from the line as well. It was below 70% earlier in the year, but they're starting to move up. And that's coming in handy here. A lane violation on the second shot, so Bediako will get another attempt. The old 3 to make 2 there, Eric.
Yeah, and Jaden's a guy we've been talking about all season, and his improvement over the last couple seasons. Free throw shooting's been one of those things. As a big guy, he's continually worked on. His stroke looks nice and smooth.
And we jinxed
him. And then he gets the announcer jinx straight from us.
So 1 for 2 as Bediako. Just a half minute in. Ryan Flaherty, Eric Magdens, Salam Valji with you. Glad to have you on board on this Friday night. Here's Joplin. Into the corner, Ruggsy Miller-Moore, no on the reverse, but the tip-in is good for Javonte Brown.
A couple good first possessions here by the Surge. They're getting the ball moving, getting it into the paint, creating second opportunities with offensive rebounding. Big, great starting points here for the Surge.
All right, and yes, just a reminder as well, of course, powering the official game ball. The opening tip-off was presented by Spalding, which is the official game ball of the CEBL. 2-1 Surge here in the opening minute. Second meeting of the season between these two teams. The first was in Calgary. Mamba won that by 6 points. Three-pointer from Cheney rims out. Rebounded by Saskatoon. In their Prism uniforms this evening, one of 3 looks that the Mamba sport. Thought they might go with the Auroras for the North here, Coach, but the pink looking nice out there on the floor. Ruggsy Miller-Moore the other way and finishes under the rim. And an early 3-point lead here for Calgary.
Gotta love the energy that Surge have started with. Coach Dave DeViro is really hammering that one home. The last couple games have been tough starts for the Surge. Much different results here with Tevian Jones answering that call.
Your player to watch for Saskatoon gets the first field goal for the Mamba, and it is the 3-point variety, and we're tied at 4. Couple minutes in. Here's Ruggsy. Spin move in the lane and a lovely finish off the glass for Adonis Arms. Calgary back in front now. Jones taking on Arms, who gets some contact in on the Mamba leading scorer. And it'll be 2 free throws here for Tevian Jones.
And a big thing for both these teams to not worry about tonight is anything that's outside of their control. Don't worry about the refs. Don't worry about missed shots. Just continue to play hard. It's a different arena. It's a different experience. You're just going to have to find your footing and not worry about those other things.
Miller-Moore on the run out as he draws the contact. Good time to remind you that this Western Conference game is presented by Cal Tire. First Mamba foul goes against Tavian Dunn-Martin.
And I love this coaching right over here by Kenny Otieno right now. Adonis Arms upset by that last foul call. Brings him to the side. Did just what we talked about right there. Don't worry about those things. It'll all work out if you just continue to play hard.
Miller-Moore at the line, shooting just shy of 75% from the stripe this season. The leading scorer for the Surge, but 0 for 2. Chased down his own rebound, can't get it. Javante Brown is there, and he gets an and one opportunity. Persistence pays off for Javante Brown.
And offensive rebounding has been a problem sometimes for the Mamba this season. We saw it in a game against Ottawa earlier this season where they gave up nearly 20 offensive rebounds. They can't have that happen against the Surge tonight.
Devontae Bandu picking up his first foul. So a couple team fouls either way here in the opening 2.5 minutes. Brown at the line. Looks like lane violations are going to be the order of the night. They're keeping their eyes on that, or do we get another? This one's on Calgary, though, so that's going to void that second attempt. Oh, no, pardon me. They're going to count that free throw and call the lane violation against Saskatoon.
Yeah, one of those FIBA rules. As long as the bucket goes in, the lane violation doesn't matter from either team.
Jones from deep, no good, but Bandu gets the rebound. 9-4 now, Calgary. Three-pointer from Jalen Williams, scraping the rafters. Jalen Williams doesn't take a ton of shots, but he's usually pretty good when he does. An empty trip for the Surge, and now the Mamba looking to take the lead with the corner three, but Bandu can't get it to go. Miller-Moore on the run. Now inside, bumping with Jones, who will be whistled for the foul, and that'll send Ruggsy to the line. Another look at that rainbow tray there by Jalen Williams, who's a pretty darn good three-point shooter. We saw a great example of it there.
Yeah, he's been one of their consistent shooters all season long. He becomes such a matchup problem for other teams because he has the ability to space the floor. He can also post you up, take you inside. We've seen him play a little bit of small ball 5 at times. I really like how Miller-Moore started the game here. He's attacking in transition. He's really forcing the ball to get into the paint. And you know what? It hasn't fallen as much as it typically does for a guy of his talent. But if he stays consistent with that, that's good things for the Surge.
And he does make both on that trip. It's a 4-point Calgary lead, 11-7. Early still in the first quarter, high off the glass. No, Bediako there with the second chance bucket. It's 11-9 Surge. And starts are something that Calgary head coach Dave DeViro is certainly focused on. Of course, when you're 1-12, there's a lot of things you're trying to correct, but that was one that he spoke about this morning at the morning shoot, that really the last couple games, especially for Calgary, they need to get dialed back in here, and so far looks like pretty good.
Yeah, the effort, the energy's there defensively. They're communicating, and they're pushing the ball in transition. That's how the Surge like to play.
So 2 more free throws here for Ruggsy Miller-Moore. Fans, you can follow at CEB League on all social platforms to stay up to date on storylines, standouts, stats, and more for all 10 teams in Canada's Pro Basketball League. Highly recommend. Lots of great stuff on there, including, you might see a look at the piece of hardware that's at stake here tonight. More on that a little bit later on in the broadcast. Yes, a little extra incentive for these two teams. Bediako hammers it down as he gets open inside. Now back the other way. Cheney, the triple, no good, out of bounds off of Adonis' arms. And Jaden Bediako, who's offensively been pretty quiet the last 2 nights, that's a pretty loud start for him, already getting on the board a couple of different ways.
Jaden had a great start to the season when he joined it, but he did that through extra efforts, getting on the glass. He's not so much of a guy you're just going to look to post up consistently, but he can make such an impact for this team. He started, when he came into the season, they won their first 6 games that he played.
Dump off TDM. He meets some resistance under the hoop, but much to the chagrin of David Joplin, that's his second foul. And Bediako will get another couple attempts from the line.
And there's a great example of Jaden just doing what Jaden does. He's got great hands, catches that dump off from TDM, gets his balance, goes up, hey, gets fouled, and here we go, we're back at the line.
Looking to tie it up here. Comes up short. Couple teams looking to generate some positive momentum as we get into the back end of this season. But Bediako an empty trip, and it remains a 1-point Surge lead. Cheney finds a little daylight, pulls up in the lane. No, but there's Ruggsy flying in for the putback.
And that's Ruggsy. That's the guy we know. We haven't seen as much of that this year, as the Surge have been a little bit slower in their pace and not been getting out and running. When he can play above the rim and be that dangerous, that's where they can be really effective.
Long jumper from Bediako doesn't go. And that pass went off the bottom of the backboard, so that'll be a turnover. Like the attempt there from the Surge, but just the execution a little bit off.
Exactly. They're doing the right things. They're thinking the right way. You know, not always the right decision, but you gotta appreciate that they're buying into what Coach Dave DeViro's thinking.
Dave DeViro joining this staff after the first 7 games of the season, after Perry Huang was let go as the head coach of the Surge. DeViro, of course, with them last year with the Ottawa Blackjacks. Now on the run, it's Javonte Brown, and an easy finish for the field goal percentage leader in the league. More on that a little bit later on from Solemn. Javonte Bandu over for Williams. We got a foul away from the basketball here by the looks of it. And that's against Addie Patterson, who's checked in here for Calgary. And now Matu Kamba getting set to check in. But first, we're going to head to our first break. Calgary leading Saskatoon 16-11. You're watching CEBL basketball live on CBC Sports, CBC Gem, and CEBL Plus.
What keeps me going? Under the heat of the sun or in the heat of the moment. When climbing for even one more second seems like too much. Whether you're reaching for your goal or busy setting new ones, everyone hits their limit, but that limit has a reset. Scientifically formulated to hydrate faster in the moments that matter. Electrolyte, instant hydration.
Back in Whitehorse, where it's a close-knit affair between the Saskatoon Mamba and the Calgary Surge. And this wasn't the only basketball taking place here over this past week. The Real North Classic, which was a 3-on-3 tournament on Canada Day, put on by some very gracious volunteers. A big shout-out to the Big Baller Bros, who won the adult division, and the Supernaturals, who won the youth division. Lots of exciting basketball kids and adults playing. They got some sick swag, and above all, they got to prove that there are some great basketball players up here in the Yukon. Guys?
Thanks very much, Salam. Yes, all kinds of hype. If you saw some of the video from the Canada Day parade, kids were swarming the trucks and looking to shoot hoops. It was just a great atmosphere, and it's carried over here into tonight. Bandu with the three out of the timeout. Comes up short, but knocked out of bounds by Javante Brown. So the basketball will stay with Saskatoon. And Eric, we're halfway through this first quarter. Early impressions here of this one.
Yeah, I really like what the Surge are doing. It's 5 offensive rebounds already for them. They're pushing the pace. They're really looking to move. That's a great start for them. The Mamba have just been able to sort of front their attack right now and move the ball, getting some open shots, just like Tevian Jones shows us right there.
Second triple of the game here in the early going. Tevian Jones with 6, and the Mamba back within a pair. The big men working up high. Now Cheney lost TDM for just a half a beat, but can't get the finish. And now Xavier Dunmartin grabs the rebound, running straight down the middle, and then lost the handle. Saved by the Surge. Ruggsy the other way, and he can't get it to go. Rolls all the way around and off. As the track meet opens up here in Whitehorse, corner 3, Tavian Dunmartin, no.
You got to love that extra pass there by Devontae Bandu. He's obviously a great three-point shooter, but he's willing to give it up for even a better shot in the quarter for TDM.
And after 4 straight fast breaks, finally Armani Cheney gets one to go. And a delay of game warning issued to the Surge. Substitutions in on both sides. Jameer Chaplin, Mo Mahadi in for the Mamba, and Sincere Carey checks into the game for the Surge. Just his second game in a Calgary jersey.
This Calgary team's still figuring it out. They have some new guys on their team, some guys who've only played a couple games. They're still figuring how they can play with one another, but I really like this lineup out here. Sincere Carey's a guy who can be a real setup man, and they have a bunch of guys who have the ability to score on the wing.
And a turnover back the other way. Three-pointer for Matthew Kamba. No good. Jameer Chaplin on the glass, quickly up ahead Williams. Scott Patterson with a hand in his face, but that don't matter for Jay Will, shaking his head, saying you're gonna have to do much better than that if you're gonna stop me.
When he's shooting well, it means good things for the Mamba, and his ability to stretch the floor has been key for them all season.
Hard screen there by Kamba, who takes the pass, drives baseline, and stepped out of bounds. Turnover will give it back to Saskatoon. Another look at the latest bucket from Jay Will, and the Mamba doing as advertised here in the first quarter. Three-point shooting is certainly one of their biggest strengths, and it's looking pretty sharp here in the early going.
And we've talked about how effort and energy are key. You know, sometimes you hope as a coach your defense creates energy for your offense, but sometimes your offense is going to create energy for your defense. The Mamba's ability to create shots right now is kind of giving them a lift. Their rotations on defense are showing that.
Carey working on Mahadi, the Saskatchewan Husky product. Inside Callum, Swanton, Roger, 2 hands, and down. Nice pass underneath, and Bediako draws the contact. He's making a frequent visit to that charity stripe here in the first quarter.
And that's one of those times where you can just tell the Surge are still getting to know each other. The rotation was right. It was just about a half a second too late.
Cal Tire, proud partner and tire expert of the CEBL. Shop top tire brands and have peace of mind with Cal Tire's price match guarantee. Shop and book at caltire.com. That last foul issued to the Surge. Callum Swanton Roger picking up his first. Bediako makes good. It's a 1-point game, 20-19 in favor of Calgary. And yes, you see that Surge logo at midcourt, but this is a Mamba home game. Logistically, just a shorter drive to get the floor up from Calgary than it is from Saskatoon. You got to think of the driver of that semi-truck. He needs brakes. So that's why it's a little mixed bag. Mahadi can't get it. Jones, a couple of offensive rebounds, now pulls it out. Chaplin cut off. Back out for Jones. Working on a Deladoon. Gets a little separation and hits another three. Tevian Jones wanted a foul, but he'll have to settle for 3 more points, and the Mamba push in front by a pair. Carey. And Swanton Rogers going to pick up his second foul on that illegal screen.
Yeah, just a little too much there, still moving. Hey, a young guy who's just excited to be in the game here. Just a little too much on that screen, but that's his second, so he's going to go sit down.
Always like to talk about the hometown products, and it's got to be pretty cool not only to play in this game, but for his hometown team for a guy like Swanton Roger.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I've watched him grow up. Before I moved to Saskatoon, I lived in Alberta, and he was a part of the provincial team programs there and was a great prospect all throughout, had a great NCAA career, and like you said, great to see him playing for his hometown team.
Well, Mahadi comes up short. After that foul, Swanton Roger going to the bench. Javonte Brown back in for the Surge. He's got the basketball now. Finds Patterson. Back underneath the rim for Brown and out beyond the arc. Sincere Carey pulls it out, 8 on the shot clock. Now driving on Mahadi. Scoops it up, comes up short, but the foul will be called on the young 20-year-old Mohamed Mahadi.
Yeah, so many good things in that defensive possession there for the Mamba. Great rotations, getting all the way out there. Just the final little detail of keeping guys to the baseline where they know they have help. But Sincere Carey is a real pro, so he knows how to take advantage of that young guy and get to the middle of the lane.
Carey out of Kent State. This is his first career free throw attempt in the CEBL. Of course, just his second game. Didn't have any in his first.
And he's a great addition with having Armani Chaney, who's a guy who's a connector. Being able to bring a professional guy like Carey off the bench who can do that exact same thing is a huge bonus for this Surge team and something they need to connect their athletes all together.
Jamal Fuller checking in for the Mamba. He'll replace Mahadi. We get some encouraging words from head coach Isaiah Fox on his way to the bench. Marcus Harding is also in the game for Saskatoon now.
And a bit of a different lineup here for the Mamba. T. Jones running the point. They got a lot of wings on the floor. This is a big lineup for the Mamba. Let's see how they can do.
Jones, crossover, inside. Brown sticking with him. But that is not going to stop Tevian Jones. He's certainly got the hot hand here in the first quarter, already 11 points. As we're into the final 30 seconds of the period. And the fans getting their money's worth early on. Back and forth they go. Carey launches from deep. Battle for the loose ball, and Harding pulls it down for Saskatoon. Shot clock turned off, and the Mamba will hold for the final shot here. As Jones sizes up the veteran, Matthew Kamba. To his left, scoops it up. Too strong. Time running down, and not enough for Patterson to get it up in time. That'll bring it in to the opening quarter of play, and what a great game we've got so far. It's the Saskatoon Mamba leading the Calgary Surge 24-22. Stick around, great basketball still to come. You're watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Sports, YouTube, CBC Gem, and CEBL Plus. Welcome back as we get set for second quarter action here at Takini Arena in beautiful Whitehorse. And Mother Nature even cooperated for us today, Eric, when we got in yesterday, you and I. It was a pretty overcast and rainy day, but sky's kind of clearing off as this game was coming around. It's almost like there was something else at work here, knowing that this game was about to happen. But stage is set, the scene has been set, and so far, these two teams have delivered on the hype.
Yeah, it's been a great game so far, and just as we expected, both teams playing to their strengths, finding a bit of rhythm as this game went on. The three-point shooting is going to be the key this game. Mamba in that first quarter, 5 for 11, yet the Surge are yet to make their first three.
Here's Jameer Chaplin to start the frame. Rolls off back iron, and Kamba there for the rebound. Mamba leading it by 2 as we begin the second quarter of play. Here's Javante Brown with sincere carry. Gets a quick first step around Chaplin, but a little bit awkward on the take. But Kamba nearly getting the steal. It will still be Mamba ball. But that's been a little bit of an issue for Saskatoon. They've kind of relaxed a bit at times on their own baseline. We've seen a few plays like that. That's something you know, if they want to go deep into the playoffs this year, they're really going to have to key in on.
Yeah, it's about valuing those possessions and making sure that you're just being secure with the ball. It's one of the challenges that coaches often have with wanting to play fast. Playing fast sometimes can lead to being a little bit more loose with the ball as you're looking to play and make more opportunities, but it's finding that balance and making sure you secure the ball and secure what you're going to do before you go too fast.
The game goes by fast, and if you lose focus for even a half second, it can come back to bite you.
Well, most of these games have come down to the wire for the Mamba. Sometimes they've been able to pull it out, but the odd time when they haven't, they've looked back at some possessions and wished they'd done them better.
Here's an outside look for Chaplin. He looked like he knew that was dropping as soon as it came out of the hand. This barrage of three-point shooters is real tough to contend with for opposing defenses. And now a steal or a turnover forced by Chaplin. Here's Harding, kick out, corner three, Chaplin. Oh, that one was halfway down, but bounces back out. But the Mamba already with 6 three-point shots here early in the second quarter. Nice little move there by Patterson inside, and he finishes off glass. Jamal Fuller.
Yes, sir, that's us.
Deladoon providing excellent defense there, and he forces a turnover. New Era is the exclusive game uniform partner of the CEBL and all 10 of its teams from coast to coast. Pick up your official replica jerseys now by visiting CEBL.ca. Let me tell you, Eric, the merch was flying out of the back of the truck on Canada Day here in Whitehorse. They had to send you up with an extra suitcase full of Mamba gear.
They sure did. It's awesome to look around this arena. You see hats, you see jerseys, and you know that most of these probably didn't exist a week ago.
Turnover, and Tavian Dunn-Martin could feel the two Surge players tracking back and just lofted that up and in. His first points of this game. And now another great first step by Patterson, but he got in too tight, hit the underside of the rim. Dunn-Martin for Mahadi, who's back in for Saskatoon. So now 2 point guards on the floor for the Mamba.
The Mamba have been switching up with their lineups tonight. I like these different looks that they're giving to the Surge, keeping them on edge.
Harding runs into trouble, and the double team has the desired effect. Up for Brown, and Javante hammers it through.
That's what made the Surge successful in the first half of that first quarter. They were able to get turnovers, they were able to get rebounds, and then that allowed them to get out in transition.
And another turnover committed by Saskatoon, and right on cue after that alley-oop to Brown, Jaden Bediako checking back in for the Mamba.
And for both of these teams, it's all about consistency, managing these runs, managing these different times. When maybe the shot's not falling so much, how can you still have great possessions on both ends of the court?
Mamba leading by 3, Surge with the basketball. Just about 3 minutes gone now in the second quarter. Carey for Patterson. Back outside, sincere carry at the free throw line, pulls up, off back iron, but gets his own miss and banks it home. And the Surge doing a pretty good job on the offensive glass here in the first half. That's been key to them being within 1. Chaplin change of directions, and he puts it in. Jameer Chaplin, his third straight game after sitting out 4. Looking energized to start this one. A turnover. Mahadi, skip pass. Dunn-Martin, quick trigger 3, just a bit short.
And you can see there's a little extra on, with TDM when Carey's guarding them. They both actually went to Duquesne for 3 seasons together, know each other well, have now met in the pro ranks.
Javonte Brown hands it off to Addy Patterson. Active hands from behind, nearly forced the turnover. Mahadi hassling him, but Patterson again, there's another putback for the Surge, and you can see Tevian Jones is getting set to check back in, trying to encourage his team to close out and block out on those rebounding situations. Dunn-Martin underneath, Bediako trying to fight off the contact. No, Chaplin in there battling for it. Jameer Chaplin prompting a timeout called by Surge head coach Dave DeViro. The Mamba leading it 33-30 as it remains tight here midway through the second quarter. You're watching Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Gem, Sports, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
The CDIC was established by the Government of Canada to protect deposits in case of bank failure. Coverage is free and automatic when you bank with a member institution.
Whoa. Thank you. That's my job. So you were saying?
Protecting your deposits, that's what we do.
The CEBL, Canada's Pro Basketball League, and redtag.ca brings Canadian basketball fans a chance to save up to $300 off on vacation bookings all season long with promo code CEBLFans. I wonder how our mascots would spend their time on vacation. Book today with Red Tag and save $300.
Redtag.ca.
A little distraction there. As we're back, it's a nail-biter here in the first ever game in Northern Canada for the CEBL, 33-30 for the Saskatoon Mamba. But Javonte Brown for the Calgary Surge has had an incredible season, considered 78% from the field. That is 13% higher than anyone else in the league. And think about this, the NBA all-time single-season record for field goal percentage was 74%, set back in the 2019-2020 campaign by Mitchell Robinson with the New York Knicks. Javonte Brown is eclipsing that, and he played some of his college ball at UConn, so certainly fitting in well right now.
Thanks very much, Salam. Yes, and you can see why here already, why Javonte Brown has such a lofty field goal percentage. He is absolutely lethal around the rim, and the Surge do a really good job of finding him in those spots. His teammates setting him up for those easy flushes and putbacks. There's Ruggsy Miller-Moore driving the paint and laying it in.
You could feel the relief on Miller-Moore right there when that one went through the basket. He's had a couple rim out tonight. Feels good to have that one go through.
Absolutely. Is shooting at 44% on the season, but as you touched on, a rougher start to this one. Quickly up the floor for Saskatoon. The three-pointer won't go for Williams, but Bediako fouled by Brown as they were battling for the rebound. Javonte Brown trying to make his case, but he will now take a seat. And back on comes Callum Swanton-Roger.
And these extra efforts by the Mamba bigs have really put the pressure on the Surge centers. 2 fouls on each center right now. That's going to be something to watch going into the second half.
Indeed, we will keep our eyes on that storyline. And the Mamba now with 14 on the shot clock, inbound for Bediako. Out to the top of the arc is Jalen Williams now. Two-man action inside. Bediako short on the baby shot, or baby jumper rather. And now Cheney with it, looking for an option, and he finds Miller-Moore. Backing down, Bandu, turnaround, soft touch, rattles home. And the Surge now retake the lead by 1. Williams, strong hands to maintain the hold on that pass. Into the corner, Tevian Jones Doesn't seem like he can miss from outside. He's got 14 points, including 4 from shots from beyond the arc.
And another great extra pass by Devontae Bandu. We saw one earlier in the game to TDM. That one there to Tevian Jones pays off.
Arms a little too strong on that baseline jumper. So Tevian Jones, as I just mentioned, now with 4 threes in the game and 14 points already. Just 5 shy of his game average, and we've still got 4 minutes and change left in the first half. He could be in for a big night.
Yeah, you always wonder when you're in a new gym, is the shooting going to be the same? Is it going to feel different? Obviously, it feels all right for Tev tonight.
Now driving off the glass, no. Battle for the rebound, secured by Adonis Arms. And he'll run right down the floor, but a whistle. And it looks like a foul on Swanton Roger. He was trying to post up and provide some separation for his teammate.
Yeah, and that's just a clever veteran move there by TDM. He knew he was kind of outmanned there and in a bit of a 2-on-1 situation. Just puts his body in front of the big guy, knowing that he's not going to be able to change direction as quick as him. Gets that offensive foul, gets them out of transition.
A warning being issued to Dave DeViro. Presumably it was at the bench, but I think you and I would comfortably say that it was on DeViro. So 3:45 to go, first half. Mamba leading it by 2 with the ball. Here's Tavian Dunn-Martin. Swings it across for Jones. Gets around Arms, but then runs into Swanton Roger. On his backside, finds Williams to the corner. Bandu hits the 3. Great ball movement there by the Mamba. And now a whistle and a 3-point play opportunity for Adonis Arms, who's got a little silly for that effort. And why not? A strong take there by the Adonis of the Surge.
Let's see what the Surge can do here. Mamba got frustrated. Tevian Jones not liking that when he's driving, feeling like he's getting some contact at the rim, and then the Surge get a call down here. Little too much, gets a technical from ref Perry Stothard.
A lot happening there in that sequence. This has been a recurring issue for Jaden Bediako in terms of his, fighting the whistle a little bit and sometimes getting a little distracted by it as well. And that's, especially the last few games here, something that's maybe cropped up a little bit more noticeably for Bediako.
And that's why you see the up and downs of this season with a 4-game losing streak, maybe to start the season, followed by a 4-game winning streak, and now we're back on a losing streak. Again, it's about trying to maintain that consistency possession to possession, consistency in emotions, and just being able to play through the good and the bad. Shots aren't always going to fall, calls aren't always going to go your way, but you just got to be able to fight through each of those things and worry about the next possession.
Surge take advantage of that technical free throw, pull them back within a pair. Largest lead for either team has been 5, but a miscommunication on the inbounds, and one turnover deserves another. Just pretend it never happened.
Yeah, we'll just restart that one.
Both teams just not quite on the same, singing from the same songbook on that sequence.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for those leaders on those teams to get everything under control. Which team can get momentum back on their side? It's a tight game. Every possession matters.
Deep 3 for Arms off the front rim, saved by the Surge, but right to Tavian Dunn-Martin. Hands it off. Jones, rhythm 3, but off back iron. And now a foul called on Adonis Arms, I believe. We've seen a lot of fouls on these loose ball battles on rebounding opportunities here in this first half. And
I know
teams,
that
you need to adjust to that whistle, right?
Yeah, you got to adjust to the whistle, and you can't worry about it. And it's easier to say sitting over here than being on the court when you got the blood pumping and your adrenaline's going. But at the end of the day, you just kind of have to move on to the next one. And truthfully, Adonis should probably be happy with this one, because if it wasn't on him, it was on Javonte Brown, and that would have been his 3rd.
But that's the case, too, Eric, where is the teams, when you go into the half, you discuss it, You have to, I mean, you've got to battle hard for those loose balls, but you also just have to be aware, and even communicating with the officials, getting a clear understanding of what they're seeing and what they're looking for there, so you can make those small adjustments and still get that same intensity.
And you have to learn to adapt to. At the end of the day, I don't know very many times where officials have chosen to change how they're calling a game because I've argued with them. At the end of the day, it's about adapting and understanding what they're seeing so that you can adjust how you're playing on the court.
Tevian Jones at the line makes the first of two. And just like what we were just talking about, Eric, we just heard Calgary head coach Dave DeVero imploring the officials to give us an explanation so we know what we're doing.
Yeah, it's communication back and forth. And truthfully, some of the FIBA rules make it hard for these officials because after they call a foul, they're instructed to go to the opposite side of the floor, which then the only way for the coach to communicate with them is yelling at them, and yelling at them never comes across it the right way. So it's a tough spot for both of them to be in, but unfortunately that's the way FIBA chose to write the rules.
So it was 3 free throws there for Jones, and he does make 2 of them, and the Mamba now at their largest lead. It's 5 points, 42-37 as we tick down on 3 minutes in the half.
I'm not sure my communication.
And Javonte Brown gets 2 back for the Surge. It's been a one-possession game for the majority of this half, and right back in there now.
And if you had any questions why he's shooting 78% from the field, that showed it right there. His length just kept going and going and going.
Jones driving, takes the body from Brown, but good defense that time by Brown, just standing up straight, put those arms in the air. Forces the miss, and now Cheney takes advantage of a little daylight inside. 1-point game. Back-to-back buckets by Calgary. Now a little Euro in the paint by Williams, but the shot won't go. Quickly the other way, and the finger roll finish by Joplin. The 6-0 run by the Surge prompts a timeout called by Isaiah Fox. This has been the definition of a seesaw battle here in this first half, Coach.
Yeah, and I really like what the Surge have done here. And Matthew Combo's a huge part of that. He's just that normalizing, stable force for them. Played absolutely great defense down here, forced a turnover, let them to get out in transition. And you can see he's not getting too high, he's not getting too low. He's just continuing to play the game. You can tell his teammates are rallying around that.
So with 2:02 to remaining in this second quarter, let's quickly look at both teams and what they can do to maybe gain a little separation going into the half.
Yeah, you see how both teams are choosing to guard the ball screen. It's opening up a lot of short roll opportunities for the centers where they're passing the ball sort of in the middle of the key there and forcing the centers to be decision makers. It's worked out. Bediako's got to the line a lot. You see Javonte Brown's getting much more comfortable with this, with that dunk on that last possession over there. It'll be interesting to see coming out of these timeouts if coaches choose to change up how they're guarding ball screens.
This, of course, is a historic night here in Whitehorse, and a lot of moving parts to make it happen, and certainly want to, while we have a brief moment, give a big thank you and shout out to Snowline Gold, who's the presenting sponsor of tonight's game, and also Air North, a very proud supporter, as we, of course, got to travel up here on thanks to Air North, and a lot of individuals, a lot of businesses, a lot of passionate basketball people contributing to the cause to put this together.
Yeah, this is my first time in Whitehorse. It's been awesome so far. Such a beautiful place, such a great town. It's someplace I hope I'll bring my family back someday.
The hospitality has been unmatched, that is for sure. So the Mamba with the ball out of the timeout. Tavian Dunn-Martin trying to get on track, but still looking for his first 3. However, Jalen Williams is there to help out his teammate, get the second chance too.
That's a great response by the Mamba. The second thing I like is bringing Jameer Chaplin back in the game. He had a big impact in his first possessions of the first quarter. He's a guy who can bring energy, bring spacing the floor, and bring that defensive intensity we're talking about.
And Cheney putting Calgary right back in front with the 3. 46-44. Back and forth they go. Here's Chaplin. Defended by Miller Moore, but Great offense can beat even the best defense, and Chaplin filling it up here in the first half. Deep three for Cheney, no. Brown out-muscles Williams for the rebound into the corner, and a triple is good for David Joplin.
And the Surge have been able to maintain that momentum even with the timeout. Great couple possessions offensively. Even their defense has been quite solid, despite the Mamba making some great shots.
All on the deck, and it's tied up. And the possession arrow favors Calgary. Well, coming up at the half, we'll have a sit-down interview with Surge forward Sean Miller-Moore, a.k.a. Ruggsy. Solemn will interview the Surge head coach, David DeViro. We'll have the first half stats and revisit Eric's players to watch. And we've got a timeout called by the aforementioned Dave DeViro. Looking for a good play here with 40 seconds left, or just under. And his team in front by 3.
Yeah, we always like to talk about ending quarters strong. The Mamba have done a great time this entire season of ending quarters strong, ending halves strong. It's something the Surge have struggled with. But a great opportunity here for a 2-for-1 for the Surge, where they have an opportunity to get 2 possessions, Mamba only get 1, try to extend that lead going into the half. Try to look for a quick hitter here. You want to get that first shot up with about 32 seconds left so that you have a great opportunity to get a second possession. So it'll be something happening here within the first 6-7 seconds. If you don't, fine. It's better to get 1 great possession than 2 bad ones.
Ruggsy Miller-Moore and Javonte Brown, prior to the last timeout, sharing the scoring lead with 11 points apiece. Of course, there's been a few more put on the board since then, but no doubt who's leading the Mamba on the score sheet here in the first half. Tevian Jones with 17 already. And not too far removed from a career-high 36-point performance just a few games back. Close to that, a similar pace here tonight.
And when you see the Surge players communicating with each other now, you can tell that they're starting to get on the same page. They're pulling the rope in the same direction. Everybody's trying to do the same thing. And they're getting excited for other people's success. And that's a big part of becoming a team.
Test, you got me? Test.
Surge basketball. Cheney with the bounce pass to the corner. Here's Mamba slashing inside. Up top, Brown. Chaplin got a hand on the basketball, but also a little bit of Javonte Brown. And the foul on Chaplin will send Javonte Brown to the free throw line.
Yeah, and again, great possession here by the Surge. Gets the ball inside, offensive rebound, put themselves back at the free throw line. The Mamba here have to look to use as much time as possible. They want to limit the Surge getting another possession here because that possession took a little longer than the Surge had hoped. So use some clock, try to use the full 24, but still get yourself an opportunity for a great shot.
And Brown 2 for 2 for a 45% free throw shooter. That's a pretty good trip, no doubt, and it's a 5-point Calgary lead now. The largest lead for either team, exactly that number. Late attempt by Chaplin and twisting his body to put that home. 5 seconds left. One more look here for Calgary. Ruggsy driving, kicks it back. 3-pointer will not count. No, they are. Now they're going to conference here. Mamba got it up, and you can tell by the reaction from Isaiah Fox what the ultimate ruling is. It was within a 1/10 of a second, I think, there, Eric, and they are going to count that 3-point basket, giving the Surge a 6-point lead heading into the half as we get another look on the replay. Matthew Mamba using every single second, and even then a little bit more than that, to get that last 3 to end the half. And now we're going to send it over to Salim Valji, who's standing by with Ruggsy Miller-Moore.
Ruggsy, what a way to end the first half. What are your thoughts on the past a little bit for you?
Say that again, sorry?
George, just what a way to end the first half. What are your thoughts on your performance so far?
All right, I'm trying to just bounce back from last game. You know, I started slow. I wasn't really feeling myself last game, so just trying to be aggressive. and yeah, get a win.
And carrying the momentum now. You have the lead, carrying the momentum, and hopefully closing this out with a win. What do you have to do to achieve that?
Just keep playing our game. Keep trusting each other, keep building what we have. This is our final team, so just trying to build some chemistry and hopefully win the game.
And lastly, thoughts on the Yukon, your time in Whitehorse so far?
Yeah, it's new to me, but I crossed something off my bucket list for sure. But the fans are amazing. They're loud and they're showing support, so I'm just happy to be here.
Awesome, thanks very much. You're watching the CEBL on CBC Sports platforms, CBC Gem, and CEBL Plus.
Great second effort from him to get a basket up and over Gabe Levin.
Good numbers off the bench for the Stingers. Good.
So much great homegrown talent, so many players that are loyal to the soil, and that is true of our next guest, the man who they call Rugsy, which I need to figure out why, but that soil went from Guelph all the way to Calgary. Sean Rugsy Miller Moore. First of all, Doggy, what is the background with the nickname?
So originally, I'm Jamaican, so Jamaican parents always come up with these nicknames, but it's kind of just because I had a raspy voice when I was younger, and I was kind of a rugrat. I was kind of a bad kid, so Rugsy just clicked.
Well, that is
for them, I guess.
That is very Jamaican, where every Jamaican family, most people's names are not their actual government name, and every Jamaican family has a captain, a sergeant, a junior, and evidently a Rugsy. So I love that you continue to bring the culture. But you're not necessarily a rugrat on the court. You're a problem. What's it been like for you to see your game evolve in your 5 years in the league, but also you continually move up the scouting report in terms of the guy that other teams are really concerned about?
Honestly, I just have to give the glory to, not only God, but also my coaches that just gave me an opportunity to be myself. Coming straight out of college, I wasn't really a highly sought after player. So Guelph and Coach Kissy gave me my first opportunity, and I just played my role, and in the off season always gotten better and expanded my role when I had the opportunity to. So.
Shout out to Charles Kissy, one of the best minds in Canadian basketball. You mentioned it there. You started in Guelph, and now you're in Calgary, still loyal to the franchise, even though that it moved. What's it been like having that transition and being someone who's been there for a minute?
The transition was easy for me. I noticed that the market in Calgary for basketball was wide open. And when I heard that Calgary was buying the franchise, and Shane James also was a guy that is the GM here. We go way back, and I heard that he was the GM, and he told me to come in, and it was kind of an opportunity for me to showcase what I've been working on, and an open opportunity to just be myself. It was a no-brainer for me. So the transition was definitely amazing for me.
Love to hear it, because more times when you think of Calgary, you think of a hockey market. I mean, you literally look like you're in a penalty box right now up against the glass and the boards. I think I hear pucks in the background, but you guys are changing that perception of the city. What's it been like for you to bring the basketball vibes to Calgary?
It's been great. I always appreciate when I'm walking around and people recognize me, or when people see how tall I am and they wonder what I'm doing in Calgary, and I tell them the basketball team is here, and they're all surprised. I always make sure if a fan is ever interested right there on the spot, I always extend tickets to them, to come show love to the basketball team. But it's still growing here, and yeah, I'm just happy I'm a part of it.
You don't just fuel your body, you fuel your drive. We're not here to preach hustle. We're here for the ones who show up. You know who you are. The moms who make mornings feel like magic. The runners lacing up before the scroll. The dreamers writing it down before it's real. And we're here for you. Real fruit, Real fuel, Booster Juice, fuel for what's next.
At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around with free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
Welcome back inside Zucchini Arena. Halftime underway with the Calgary Mamba leading the Calgary Surge leading the Saskatoon Mamba 54-48 here in the first ever Real North Classic. Ryan Flaherty, Eric Magdans, and Salam Valji with you as we look at some of the first half highlights. Eric, it has been a real back and forth affair. In fact, this 6-point lead for the Surge, the largest for either team in the game. Lots of great offense, some pretty solid defense. The fans here in Whitehorse are getting what their money's worth here so far.
Yeah, you've seen the effort and energy by both these teams on the court. That's led to some pretty large swings both ways. And you've watched teams get frustrated, but also be able to get out of that and back onto the right side. It's big things like getting on the glass, 21 combined offensive rebounds. That's a big number for the first half, and they've both been working extra hard in order to make that happen. You've also seen it from the three-point line. The Calgary Surge started the game a little slower, but they've been able to move up, got three three-pointers in that second quarter, and that's because they've moved the ball.
And it is Javonte Brown leading the Surge with 13 points thus far. Tevian Jones with 17, including 4 for 6 from three-point land, but the Surge able to contain him a little bit more in that second quarter, forcing a few of the other Mamba players to have to step up a little bit offensively. We saw Jameer Chaplin get a few buckets there as well.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot about defense being such a great thing. It's defense in the paint for the Surge that's been a big thing in this entire game. The Mamba are actually shooting a higher percentage from 3 than they are from 2, and that's a big reason why is Javonte Brown being on the inside and influencing those shots.
As we look at the halftime stats here, what stands out to you? You kind of touched on a couple things there, but maybe some more thoughts on the difference between these two teams so far, which has been pretty razor thin in this first half.
Yeah, it's a difference in style. You see the athletes that the Surge have where they want to attack the rim, they want to play with pace, and when they can get out in transition, they can be a really effective team. The key with transition is it's really hard to get to play out of transition when the ball's going through your hoop. So you need to be able to get stops, you need to be able to get rebounds, and that's where they've struggled early this season. Whereas you can see for the Mamba, they have no problem scoring the ball. They have a bunch of guys who can absolutely light it out. Tevian Jones has been that guy tonight, but it's been a different guy almost every game this season. And really, for them, it's all about the defensive end. Are they willing to commit there, and are they willing to take care of the basketball once they do?
It is interesting to see the Surge shooting 52.5% from the field to the Mamba's 38, but the Mamba out shooting the Surge by a significant margin from beyond the arc. It's a little bit of an anomaly that you see on both sides, kind of reversal there, but the three-point shooting clearly is on trend for both of these teams that are at kind of opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to that particular element of the game.
Yeah, and you got to play to your players' strengths, and for who these teams have, that is who they are. And it's great to see these players buy into what their coaches are saying, and how their coaches believe they can be successful, and that's why we have such a great game today.
Teams are slowly making their way back onto the floor, but we've still got a few minutes left here in the half. We will take a break and then come back with a little bit more here from halftime inside Zucchini Arena. You're watching the Real North Classic, CEBL basketball on CBC Sports, CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
Yo. Wait. You need a goalie? I'll hop in here. Let's have some fun.
Whether it's on the ice or on our app, always play for the fun of the game. Gamble responsibly with Play Alberta.
The CDIC was established by the Government of Canada to protect deposits in case of bank failure. Coverage is free and automatic when you bank with a member institution.
Whoa, thanks.
That's my job.
Protecting your deposits, that's what we do.
You don't just fuel your body, you fuel your drive. We're not here to preach hustle. We're here for the ones who show up. You know who you are. The moms who make mornings feel like magic. The runners lacing up before the scroll. The dreamers writing it down before it's real. And we're here for you. Real fruit, real fuel. Booster Juice. Fuel for what's next.
The CDIC was established by the Government of Canada to protect deposits in case of bank failure. Coverage is free and automatic when you bank with a member institution.
Whoa. Thank you. That's my job. So you were saying...
Protecting your deposits, that's what we do.
At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around with free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
Back at Zucchini Arena, where the visiting Calgary Surge have a slim lead over the Saskatoon Mamba. I'm with head coach Dave DeViro of the Surge. Dave, your team improved as that first half went along. What went into that?
I thought we did a really good job on offense. I think that's the best we've been on offense all season in terms of just moving the ball, sharing the ball, playing without the ball. So I thought we did a really good job there. And then now we just have to clean up the defensive ends in terms of the offensive rebounds and the second chance points we're giving them.
So what exactly you want to see improvement-wise to clean up those offensive rebounds? What you're hoping to see your guys do?
I think our guards got to rebound some more because they're taking a lot of three-point shots, so that leads to long rebounds, and that puts our guards in the position to rebound. So I'd like to see our guards rebound a little bit more. And I think if we take away their second chance opportunities, I think we'll be in good shape.
Perfect. And lastly, just your thoughts on Whitehorse, what you've seen so far of this crowd in this spot.
This is awesome. I'm glad that we're here. And if we get a chance to bring our product to different places that don't normally get a chance to see it, I think it's a great thing to do. And I think the people here are appreciating it. I think our guys are giving them a really good show right now.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Coach. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Solemn and Coach DeViro. Eric, as we get close to second half action here, let's go back and look at your players to watch. How did they perform in the first half?
Yeah, let's start with Armani Chaney here. He's the connector that we talked about. He led that lineup for the Surge that could be effective. He's been able to shoot the ball, not up to his usual standard, but been able to stretch the floor and make the Mamba have to come out to guard. He's plus 13 right now. That's a huge part. He's led that lineup that's been able to be effective for the Surge.
And on the other side?
And Tevian Jones has just been an absolute nightmare for the Surge all night. Attacking the rim, being an absolute beast in the paint, and shooting the ball really well. 4 threes in that first half led to 17 points. He's been a really tough matchup for that Surge, and somebody that's, going to bring it in the second half.
No doubt. It looks like you had a good beat on things when you picked those players to watch. It's almost like you've coached in this league before, sir.
Something like that.
As we look at some of the highlights from that first half of action, and there was a lot to like for the fans here in the building. They're getting, again, a real good first taste of what this league has to offer. We set it off the open. It is high-level hoops, and they've got a chance to see it up close and personal here tonight.
And all season long, whenever you watch the Mamba, you're going to watch the ball go through the hoop. They are a high-scoring team. Unfortunately for them, they usually make the other team also a high-scoring team. So at the defensive end, we're going to keep harping on it all game here. Who's going to be able to find those adjustments? Who's going to stay committed on all those possessions? Because that's going to be the difference. These are some teams who can score the basketball, but who's willing to defend and do those extra efforts.
All right, time now for our Red Tag Path to the Playoffs update. Here is how the standings shape up right now. And yes, we are a month away from the final date of the regular season. And that, of course, means we're in the second half, and you can see there's a great race shaping up in both the Eastern and Western Conference. As we focus on the West, of course, with this matchup, you look at Calgary. It's pretty much must win from here on out if they want to get into that top 4. And of course, Saskatoon's the first team in their sights. So this game has a lot on the line.
Yeah, there's huge playoff implications here. Calgary got off to a tough start this season. A lot of player movement, coach movement in there as well. But a tough start for them. And the Mamba actually went through a similar phase to start the season, but they were able to turn around a little bit quicker, put themselves in on top. But these games are huge. Obviously, any inter-conference game is a big game where you can absolutely separate yourself. And for the Mamba, trying to keep themselves ahead and keep in pace with Edmonton, and even a chance to try to host a game by catching Winnipeg or Vancouver.
And in the East, the question is anyone going to be able to catch those Scarborough Shooting Stars? They've been fantastic. So lots of drama still to come over the final month, but it is shaping up to be a great stretch run here in Season 8 of Canada's Professional Basketball League. We're so glad you could join us here for this first ever Real North Classic from Whitehorse. We're underway in the second half. Ryan Flaherty, Eric Magdans, Salim Valji with you. Glad to have you on board on this Friday night. And we've got a foul away from the ball to start this second half as Ruggsy Miller-Moore and Tevian Jones were battling along the baseline.
And we talked that the defensive end is going to be the important thing for this second half. An interesting change there for the Surge in that first possession, going to a bit of a matchup zone to try to put the Mamba off pace.
So stays with the Mamba, inbound for Jaden Bediako, who had 7 first quarter points but held off the scoreboard in the second. Knocked loose, Dunmartin recovers inside Bediako, and he gets stripped as well. And now a delay of game warning issued to Bediako, and you can see his frustration mounting once again.
Yeah, he's got to let that go. Hey, they made a good play. Even if you think you got fouled, it's not going to change it now. You got to get back on defense. That's where you have an opportunity to make an impact.
He is a player and a person, as Cheney hits the 3, who wears his emotions on his sleeve, good, bad, or indifferent. You generally know what Jaden Bediako's feeling on any given moment.
Yeah, he's one of the fun parts about having the opportunity to coach Jaden is I got to watch him and get to know who he is as a person. This is an absolute gem of a human being, a guy who's just, you want to be in his corner. He's still developing as a pro. We've talked about how he's made improvements in his game. One of the hardest parts is trying to be able to control your emotions with all your adrenaline pumping.
Another look at that Cheney 3, which has opened up a 9-point Calgary lead. Devontae Bandu answers right back with a 3 of his own, his second from beyond the arc here tonight. Ruggsy Miller-Moore blocked by Bediako, one of the best in the league at that. And now Williams running the floor, but lost the handle out of bounds. That was one of the cleanest shot blocks you'll ever see there from Jaden Bediako.
Yeah, and that's where Jaden can absolutely make his impact on the game, is just getting back to it, being long, being that guy who can protect the rim for the Mamba. He's made such a difference for them this season, but that's when he can stay on the court. The last couple games when they've struggled, he's got in foul trouble or he's got in his head, and that's not been good for the Mamba.
Ruggsy for Brown. That combination continues to click here as the second half gets underway. And Javonte Brown up to 15 points. Tavian Dunmartin, we'll see if that gets him going. A quiet first half for TDM, but we know he can pop off in a heartbeat. And once again, a 6-point Calgary lead, and Brown met by Bediako, but this time a little bit of flesh in addition to that Spalding leather. And the foul goes against the Mamba big man, his 3rd of the night.
Great ball movement there by the Surge. Getting into the blitz by the Mamba. Javonte Brown does a great job slipping to the rim. They're finding him there. And maybe even better is the communication we see here at the free throw line. Cheney was talking to Javonte Brown, Miller-Moore talking to Adonis Arms. That communication is what's going to get the Surge over the hump.
And Brown has found a little bit of rhythm from the line here tonight. This Western Conference game is presented by Cal Tire. Just getting a check on the clock here. That's what we have, this brief delay. As Calgary leads it 60-53, just about 2 minutes into this third quarter. And as we were talking on that red tag path to the playoffs update, there's a lot at stake going down the stretch here, and both these teams facing a gauntlet of Western Conference opponents after this one. Calgary has consecutive back-to-backs against the top two teams in Vancouver and Winnipeg. And the Mamba will also face the Bandits and the Sea Bears once apiece in their next couple contests before meeting the Surge once again in Calgary on July 19th.
And for the Surge, this is their opportunity. Those Western Conference games is where they have an opportunity to really gain some momentum and try to gain some spots in the standings. So these will be really important next 4 games.
Bandu, no good on the 3. Bediako can't get a hand on the rebound. And it's out of bounds, last touched by Jaden Bediako. And he's going to take a seat. Marcus Harding, did they call a foul there, Eric?
They call a foul there on Jaden, which is a thing to watch.
That's his third, fourth.
That's his fourth right there. So we were talking about how the Surge may have had some foul trouble with their big men in the first half. That is completely flipped onto the Mamba here.
It did look like a little bit of innocuous kind of a bump there, but the foul goes against Bediako, and that's why he's on the bench now. Marcus Harding might get some extended run here in the third quarter.
It's important to note, too.
Arms driving and laying it in. Athletic finish there by Adonis Arms.
It's important to note, too, that the Mamba are without Easton Tim right now, so they're a little thinner up front. You might see Jalen Williams playing the 5 for a little bit if they need to get some minutes.
And Harding had a good look for that short one, but couldn't get it to drop. Cheney, quick trigger 3, no. And Tevian Jones gets to the rebound, and then Cheney commits the foul, and some frustration, but this one seems directed at himself.
Yeah, he's just upset. He had a great opportunity, made his shot before there, got a second good opportunity, didn't quite get that one at home. And honestly, not the worst foul. Keeps the Mamba out of transition. The Surge have been playing great half-court defense this quarter. This is a great opportunity to set them up for another great possession.
Yeah, quietly the Surge have pushed the lead to double digits here to start the third quarter. Starting to pull away slightly. And a traveling violation is going to give the ball right back to Calgary and a chance to extend the advantage.
And body language shows so much for teams' effort of engagement. The amount of hands being wide. This is a long Surge team. If they keep their hands next to their body, there seems like lots of driving lanes. Once they extend those arms, those driving lanes seem to disappear.
Cheney brings it up. Now Arms back over to Armani Cheney. Gets around TDM into the paint and puts it off the glass and in. 12-point lead now for the Surge.
And the thing you got to love about Cheney is he's an absolute competitor. He knows he missed that last shot. What's he going to do? He's coming back down to be aggressive. There we go again.
Blocked by Williams, who then rips the rebound away from Ruggsy. Jones, quick transition, sidestep 3. Tavian Dunbarton, no. And Adonis Arms out leaps Harding for the rebound. Quickly up Cheney. Back pass, Miller Moore, no. Knocked away from Brown. Cheney on the scene to Ruggsy, who settles things down. Now the cutter, Arms, too strong, but the foul going to be called here on the contact from Harding.
Hey, not the prettiest possession.
Williams going to pick that up, excuse me. No, it is Harding. Sorry there, Eric.
No, that's just fine. But not the prettiest possession by the Surge. But at the end of the day, they're successful because they run with 5 guys and they're able to play. Oh, a tough one right here. Tevian Jones just does a little too much, gets his second technical foul. He's been booted from the game here.
He will be removed. And yeah, I was looking at something else there in that moment, and Mamba scoring leader making an early exit here with 6 minutes and 14 seconds left in the third quarter. That completely changes the complexion of this second half, Eric.
Yeah, and you got to hope that this is a great opportunity. I love what the Mamba are doing right here. They got their leaders. They got their 5 guys here at center court talking about what's next. Let's not worry about what happened with Tevian. Move on, figure out those solutions. They got a lot of veterans here, and I love that they just brought in Jameer Chaplin and Trey Townsend, 2 guys who have made impacts with their energy and their effort all season long.
And add too, the frustration, I think, from the Mamba point of view, not so much about the call, but both those texts on Jones were after fouls to other players. It wasn't even that he was reacting to a call that was on him. The first one was a Bediako foul. Now this one on Harding.
Yeah, and again, sometimes you just got to let it go. I didn't actually see what happened on that one, which makes you sometimes wonder if he said some magic words that unfortunately officials get forced to call a technical.
And with the Surge now leading it by 15, Isaiah Fox wants to talk things over. This Mamba team needs to regroup, and they need to do it fast, as the Surge have really surged out here in this third quarter.
Yeah, great start. Up 15 now. This has been a great start to this quarter that the Surge have really wanted. Time for the Mamba to bounce back.
Back in a moment. You're watching the CEBL on CBC Sports, GEM, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
Yo. What? Need a goalie? I'll hop in here. Let's have some fun.
Whether it's on the ice or on our app, always play for the fun of the game. Gamble responsibly with Play Alberta.
Back inside Zucchini Arena, 6:14 to play in the third quarter. And if you're just joining us, Tevian Jones just being disqualified from this game after picking up his second technical foul with the Mamba trailing by 15. Jones had 17 points. So we're going to see how Saskatoon reacts coming out of the timeout. But they're going to need a collective effort to get back in this one now without their scoring leader. Here's Jameer Chaplin driving inside, lays it off to Harding, and that's a good start as the Mamba try to eat into this deficit. Come see the new chapter of professional basketball in Saskatoon. Tickets available by scanning the QR code or by visiting saskatoonmamba.ca/tickets. And Harding gets in to defend Javonte Brown, but Marcus Harding will pick up his second foul.
But I know we were all impressed by Javonte Brown shooting 78% from the field. But tonight, he's even topping that. He's shooting 85, 6 for 7. Every time he's right around the rim there, he's got such a great touch. We'll see if that transfers over into his free throws.
As the Mamba offense has gone ice cold here in the third quarter. And there's a miss from Brown.
And as much as the Mamba have gone ice cold, I give a huge credit to the Surge. They've come out with energy, they've come out with effort, they're connected, they're communicating with one another. You know, this morning we mentioned it was a little bit quiet at shoot-around. Guys were a little more reserved, and the Mamba were really energetic in there. It's been a different story here in this game. The Surge have been very connected. The Mamba's still searching for that.
Bandu pulls up from the free throw line, but it rims out. Rebounded by Calgary. Adonis Arms back into the game, hands it off to Miller Moore. Pass deflected away by Townsend. Bandu back the other way for Saskatoon. Finds Chaplin. Back from Williams. Chaplin for 3. And now a quick timeout. Dave DeBiro doesn't want to see this Mamba offense start to cook. But Jameer Chaplin might be the candidate. Of course, Tavian Dunmartin, you wonder if he's going to step up and take more shots here in this second half now with Jones out. But Jameer Chaplin is kind of an X factor for this Mamba attack.
Yeah, he was an absolute X factor in that first half. Came in with energy, effort, got his hands on a number of deflections that led to the Mamba getting out in transition. And he's come back here and done the exact same thing in the second half. Obviously, with Tevian Jones gone, they need another guy who can score on the wing. Jameer's that guy. He scored 18 points a game last year before his unfortunate injury. He's come back this year. He's found his rhythm throughout the entire season. He's rounding into form here. This might be a perfect opportunity for him.
And that three-pointer puts him over his season average of 11.5 points a game, now up to 14, including 2 of 3 from deep, but shooting the ball well overall, 6 of 10 from the field. And Chaplin, a guy who, if he gets into a rhythm, he can just start knocking down bucket after bucket. He's not the guy that usually takes the reins of the offense, but he's willing to step up when he's required.
Yeah, and there's the old coach adage, when you play hard, good things happen, and you can guarantee every time Jameer touches the floor, he's going to play hard. And so for Jameer, lots of times good things are happening.
So just 64 seconds there between timeouts. It was just a couple of productive trips for the Mamba, but again, timeouts can also be used to try to slow a team down. That was definitely the case there for Dave DeViro. And now his team reset and back out to the attack. Miller Moore to Adonis Arms, and there's Chaplin harassing him. Arms draws the contact, and it will be Chaplin picking up his second.
And Arms has been a big addition here for this Surge team. He's just another athletic, strong wing who can attack. He's a matchup problem. The Surge sort of have a guard on the floor, 3 really athletic wings, and a big. That's a difficult thing for teams to match up against that are more traditional, like the Mamba.
Arms up to 11 points now, along with 5 rebounds. And makes the first of 2. 81% free throw shooter in his first 5 games this season. Out of Milwaukee, the Texas Tech product. Appropriately played in Greece last year. For a guy named Adonis, that seems like a pretty natural fit. And the lead back up to 13 here for the Surge. Chaplin handling the rock. Mamba trying to stick with him, and Chaplin floats it home. He just hovers in midair. Here's Cheney now, weaving inside and then gives it away.
The defensive activity since that last time out has improved so much from the Mamba. Couple turnovers because they're getting deflections on passes, closing down driving lanes.
Bandu high up and right through the hoop. And talking about guys who might take on a little bit more offensive load in the second half, Devontae Bandu certainly one of those candidates. He's got 8 now. Empty trip there for Calgary, and Bandu with the rebound. And Devontae Bandu also approaching a pretty big milestone in his CEBL career. This time he defers to Townsend, and that works to perfection. And just like that, Saskatoon back within 7. That timeout from Isaiah Fox a few minutes prior certainly had the desired effect.
And you can see defense leads to offense. It's the old, every coach wants to preach it, and it rings true too many times. You get some good defensive effort, it's going to help you on the offensive end, and you can see that momentum shift right there.
Substitutions on both sides. Olu Adeladoon, Sincere Carey back in for the Surge. Jamal Fuller going to replace Marcus Harding for the Mamba. Mo Mahadi also back in just at the last breath of the break there. So it's Chaplin, Mahadi, Townsend, Williams, and Fuller for Saskatoon. Mamba, Patterson, Brown, Adeladoon, and Carey for the Surge. 3-point try. Fuller right onto the floor, but that one doesn't fall. But trying to battle to win it back. Great second effort by Chaplin. Williams feeds him outside, drives, puts it up, and draws the contact. And you love to see that from Williams, rewarding his teammate for that effort, giving him the ball right back.
Yeah, and he just goes right back aggressive with it. You can tell the Mamba are feeding off of Jameer's sort of effort and energy right here. He's making things happen. That's leading to good things on the defensive end and good things on the offensive end. Some substitutions here for the Surge, trying to change the tempo of this game.
Your seat is waiting for you to catch every single game live from the WinSport Event Center in Calgary. Get your tickets at calgarysurge.ca/tickets or by scanning the QR code. Perhaps you would like to get some tickets for the next matchup between these two teams, July 19th at the WinSport Event Center. And there will be one more meeting in Saskatoon yet to come. It'll be the only meeting in Saskatoon. Of course, again, this is a home game for the Mamba, originally scheduled for the Bridge City, but what a change of scenery, a change of pace, and we've got a good one cooking as the Mamba work their way back in it here. Chaplin makes the second of two, and it's a 6-point Calgary lead, matching the advantage at the half. So they pushed it to 15, but the Mamba have reeled it back down to 6. Carey working on Townsend. The Deladoon, who's been quiet tonight, hasn't played a ton of minutes. Good offensive rebound there by Swanton Roger outside Kamba. A little too strong on the 3. Rebounded by Williams. Fuller pushing it up the floor for Townsend. Inside, here's Chaplin. Uses his body to ideal results. And Jameer Chaplin continues to push the Mamba right back into it, down 4 now.
The Mamba have used a number of different lineups tonight to sort of try to change momentum, try to change pace, leading to another turnover here. Here they're going, again, an untraditional lineup, no true center on the floor, switching a lot, putting the pace different here for the Surge, leading to a ton of turnovers and tough shots and great things offensively.
Addie Patterson whistled for the traveling violation there, and certainly these rougher patches for Calgary are going to test their resolve because not a lot has gone right this season. Looked like they were starting to take control of this game earlier in the period, but now they're going to have to battle. Here's Fuller slicing through, but can't finish. But there was a good reason for that as he is fouled. And is this number 4 on Swanton Roger? Or yes, indeed, Callum Swanton Roger picking up his 4th foul.
And a great job by the Mamba attacking the paint, being unselfish, moving the ball, getting the ball to the paint a second time. That puts a ton of pressure on a defense, especially with this untraditional lineup where you got 5 guys on the floor who can shoot it. Whether do you close out or do you help, it always puts the defense in a tough spot.
Long Island University product Jamal Fuller at the line. 2 for 2. It's a 16-3 run by the Mamba. Back within a possession. It's a 2-point ball game with under 2 to play in the 3rd. Carey. Cut off by Townsend. Tries to work it inside. Now kick out, swung around. A Deladoon for 3, no. And all of a sudden the lid's on the basket at the Surge at end of the floor. Here comes Townsend the other way. Kicks it out. Open lane for Williams and waits for the flyby before lowering it down.
And another possession where we got the ball into the paint 2 times. That second time was the challenging one for them. It's easy for defense sometimes to be able to help the first time, not the second.
And Carey just muscles Mohadi aside. All he can do is smile about it. Back in front by 2. Fuller the other way, knocked loose. And the ball back to the Surge, but you got to be impressed with the resilience by the Mamba here as they've erased a 15-point deficit within the quarter. Calgary now back in front by 2 as Devontae Bandu checks back in for Fuller.
And Devontae's been great for the Mamba this entire game, finding his spots as a veteran in the first half, making the extra passes to get other guys open shots, and he's found his shot here in the second half in some of these untraditional lineups, even playing the point guard, which is out of character for him.
Sincere Carey works his way inside. Now back out. Joplin hoists up a 3, short. And those 3-point shooting woes continue for the Surge. Mohadi now to Bandu. Working the 2-man action along with Chaplin, but good defense here by Patterson and Kamba all over Devontae Bandu. And then Patterson a little swat on the basketball after the whistle.
And that's what you need to see from the Surge. A little extra effort, getting up in the grill, wanted to accept that challenge defensively. You like to see that if you're Coach Dave DeViro.
As we hit the final 30 seconds of this 3rd quarter, which has had all kinds of twists and turns. Carey looking to help Calgary finish it off strong. Townsend providing the dogged defense. Carey gets a half step, blocked by Townsend. Chaplin to the loose ball up ahead. Bandu on the run. Count that basket. And Devontae Bandu will go to the line with a chance for 3. Devontae Bandu has that little gleam in his eye, Eric.
Well, and you love to see that from the Mamba. A great block on this end by Trey Townsend and swarming that rebound by the Mamba. And once they get it, what do? They head man it, then they pass the ball ahead. That's how you have successful transition, and one for Devontae here.
Bandu short. And the game remains tied at 73. Last chance here for the Surge with 5 seconds left. Cheney crosses over, slices inside, swatted by Townsend. Bandu, and a nice closeout there by Joplin. Bandu hits the shot anyway, but Joplin did prevent him from getting it up in time. And why not go to the third in a tie game, Eric? These fans are getting treated to a real North classic here in Whitehorse.
Yeah, this has been a great game so far. Tie game, that's the important part. Calgary can't get lost on what's happened in the last few minutes.
Back in a moment. You're watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
You don't just fuel your body, you fuel your drive. We're not here to preach hustle. We're here for the ones who show up. You know who you are. The moms who make mornings feel like magic. The runners lacing up before the scroll. The dreamers writing it down before it's real. And we're here for you. Real fruit, real fuel. Booster Juice. Fuel for what's next.
Did you know that every CEBL game ends on a game-winning bucket? Yep, every single one. That's because we use something called target score ending, a thrilling twist that keeps fans locked in till the final shot. So what is the target score ending? Here's how it works. The first time the clock stops with 4 minutes or less left in the fourth quarter, the game clock is turned off. We enter target score time. We take the leading team's score, add 9 points, and that becomes the target score. Let's say it's 91-80. That means the first team to hit 100 wins. No ticking clock, no intentional fouls, just pure clutch basketball. It's fast, it's electric, and it guarantees that every game ends with a bang. Experience the target score ending this CEBL season.
Welcome back. A tied Real North Classic, 73-73. The fans have been treated to purely entertainment here in Taven. Dunn Martin of the Saskatoon Mamba is certainly playing a role. He's among the most valuable players in the CEBL. He's among league leaders in minutes played. He leads the league in assists and leads the game in assists. His father, Frank, was a star for the Marshall Thundering Herd. And Taven himself has played in Belgium, Slovenia, and France. He's certainly making a name for himself in Canada as well, initially joining the Montreal Alliance. And like his dad, who starred in the NCAA years and years ago, Martin Dunn himself now becoming a star in the CEBL.
Magdans. Thanks a lot, Solemn, as we begin the fourth quarter. Ryan Flaherty, Eric Magdan, Solemn Vology with you in a tie basketball game. Teams exchanging misses to open the period. And TDM, we just heard about there, has been quiet, but this fourth quarter could belong to him if he decides to take it over. But Jameer Chaplin keying the comeback in that third for the Mamba, who now look to take the lead. Devontae Bandu also playing a big role, trying to stay hot, but that shot won't drop. Bandu's up to 10, but Jameer Chaplin now with a game-high 19 as the Surge take over possession.
Yeah, when Tevian Jones went out of this game, we knew that the Mamba were going to have to look to other guys to try to get scoring, try to make impact plays. What we're going to need here, Jameer Chaplin's been a big part of that. Trey Townsend has also been a huge part of that. In that third quarter, he had a couple big blocks, a couple big rebounds here to start the quarter. Who is it going to be for the Surge as they keep fighting their way through this?
Chaplin driving, and Kamba meets him in midair, but Matu Kamba will be whistled for the foul. So still no points here. We played almost 90 seconds in the third. You can feel the tension mounting as the magnitude of this game, which we've already outlined here tonight, starting to take hold for both of these teams. Every possession is getting that much more important now down the stretch. And Jameer Chaplin going to the line.
Yeah, a guy for me to watch is Adonis Arms here. He's been sort of an influencing factor the entire way. Had some good battles against Tevian Jones in the first half. Got himself a little bit out of rhythm, worrying about the wrong things in the third quarter. But I expect him to bounce back here and be a big impact for the Surge.
Chaplin missing the first free throw, and both teams struggling from the line here tonight. The Mamba 64% through three quarters. It's Calgary actually 81, but missed a few there in the third quarter. Chaplin does make the second one, and for the first time since the first half, the Mamba have the lead, but it is by the slimmest of margins. Here's Cheney swinging it, moved around. Miller-Moore off target. Chaplin with the contest. Ruggsy Miller-Moore just shooting at 22% from beyond the arc this season. And now Bediako, who didn't see much of the floor in the third quarter, back out here as we come to crunch time. Sets the screen for Bandu, lobbing it up high. Bediako did well just to pull it down. Now Dunmartin, open look for three, but it's been that kind of night for TDM. Just hasn't been able to find his stroke. Now Brown inside, and a foul before the shot as Bandu was just trying to get the grips on Javonte Brown and make him earn it from the line.
Yeah, and it's been a battle of styles all night. The Mamba are shooting 42% from three-point line, whereas the Surge are only shooting about 20%. But we got the same amount of points in the ball game here, so it's all about how can you find and work to your advantage. And for that tonight, that advantage has been Javonte Brown inside.
And a non-shooting foul there, so a baseline inbounds for Calgary and an open look, and I mean wide open for Arms, but he can't pay it off. And he smacks his thigh in frustration as he retreats defensively, and then Townsend's pass skying over the head of Chaplin. And you know, if Chaplin can't get up for it, it's pretty high. So both teams trying to find their offensive rhythm here in the fourth quarter. We've had just 1 point scored in 2.5 minutes of play. The defenses have been taking over. Kamba 4-3, and there is a true release from Matthew Kamba, and the Surge retake the lead by 2. Kamba, the leading three-point shooter for this Calgary team, and a big one right there. 76-74. Dunmartin to Townsend. Change of direction. Working on Arms, and Townsend muscles it home.
And Townsend's been that change of pace guy. We've been harping on Jameer Chaplin and the difference he's made. Chaplin's been doing Townsend has been doing the exact same thing in a different way, playing inside out and really having an effect on the rim.
Chaplin with the turnover and the and one fast break bucket. Jameer Chaplin, have yourself a night. Let's get another look at that. It was the effort on the defensive end, and Chaplin doing it at both ends of the floor here tonight.
Yeah, you just got to be happy for a guy like that. He's coming back from a big injury. You can tell he's getting comfortable, and he is so fundamentally sound that he's a guy who can make a big impact for the Mamba down the stretch of this season.
Welcome, or rather, let's use this timeout for a chance to get a look at our Cruise of the Game presented by Cal Tire, and it is featuring the man who just forced a Calgary timeout, Jameer Chaplin, with the 3, but he's doing it all over the floor here tonight, Eric.
Yeah, he's made a huge difference. There was a timeout by the Mamba in that third quarter. The score was 68-53. Since that time, it's been a 25-8 run. Jameer's been leading that charge, and he's had guys join him. Devontae Bandu making big plays. Trey Townsend coming in and making an impact on the defensive end. These are guys who don't start, or all of them do not start for them, but they've come in, found their role, and they've been able to lead the charge here for the Mamba to bring them back in this game. But important to note, again, it's a 2-point game. Calgary can't overthink, hey, there's been a run in this game. There's been a number of runs in this game. It's about this last 6 minutes and 45 seconds. It's only a 2-point game. They have to be able to get some confidence within them to be able to finish this game out.
Well, that old cliche about playing the full 40 or 60 or whatever you want to call it, depending on the sport that you're talking about. But this consistency, or rather inconsistency, has been kind of the bugaboo for the Surge this season, and it's kind of reared its ugly head here again in the last 6 or 7 minutes of game action. Chaplin makes the free throw, completes the and one to come out of the timeout. We're under 7 minutes on the game clock, and the Mamba lead at 79-76. Brown back on the floor, trying to connect with Ruggsy, who was running the baseline, but pass just a little too tall.
Gotta love what they were looking to do out of there, though. It's the right look for the Surge, getting something towards the rim. They knew the Mamba were going to be fired up to play defense. Little backdoor look there, just couldn't quite execute it.
Brown leading the Surge with 18 points through 3 quarters and change. Chaplin feeds it inside on the block for Townsend. Fall-away jumper comes up short. Brown with the board. He's already got a double-double as well. That's his 11th rebound. Haven't hit one of his best games of the season. Ruggsy swings it over to Kamba. Veteran lineup on the floor here for the Surge. Arms through the contact. Can't finish, but out of bounds off the Mamba. And Calgary will retain possession with 6 seconds on the shot clock.
The Mamba have done a great job of adjusting how they're guarding Miller Moore, being aggressive at the point of attack on these ball screens. Early in the game, he was getting downhill. It's a lot harder for him now.
Ruggsy, nice touch on the midi there. And a much-needed bucket for Calgary. Still within 3. Chaplin, back and forth, and Jameer Chaplin cannot be stopped. Make it 25 now for Chaplin, who, oh, by the way, also leading the Mamba with 8 rebounds tonight.
Wow, he's just been an impact all over the court. A great little in and out dribble there to freeze the big man. And then when he tries to recover, gets the contact with the concentration to finish at the rims to make this an and one possibility.
A quintessential example of a player who lets his play do the talking, Eric. I don't know if I've ever heard him speak at any sort of volume above audible. And yet he just makes all kinds of noise on the floor. He's doing it here in the second half. And now a steal. Dunmartin the other way, lays it up, but Tavian Dunmartin just cannot buy a bucket tonight. Now slow to get back in the play. Numerical advantage for the Surge, but Arms cannot convert from the corner. Bandu up ahead for Bediako. Sees a lane and a mismatch on Miller Moore, and Jaden Bediako with his first point since the opening quarter, but quickly back for Brown. And how about the defensive work by Bediako? But he's going to pick up his 5th foul, and that's going to,
you know what?
Is it? Let's just wait and
see. It is
here.
not his 5th foul. It was just referee. It looked like a 5th foul there. It was a referee looking for confirmation from the other ref official that he got the call right. It did look like a foul, but fortunately for the Mamba, Jaden is still in this game.
It seems like half the people in the building thought it was a foul, but Bediako spared of his 5th. And let's see how that plays a role going forward. Tough take and a second chance at Arms with the flex, and why not? That's a strong 2 for Adonis Arms. Mamba leading at 84-80. We're less than a minute to go until the target score threshold. Big possession here, and Dunmartin draws the call on Cheney. And we don't have, let's just say we don't have a basketball scoreboard here, Eric, so trying to keep track of team fouls as we go, but the officials also needed to consult there, but it is an out-of-bounds play here for the Mamba.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how that weighs into strategy here going into target time, with a little bit more uncertainty in what the team fouls are here for these players. Will they foul going into it? Do they have the confidence to be able to do that?
Bandu 4-3, just a little strong, but guess who with the strip? And now Chaplin, a rare miss, as you can feel this crowd primed to get loud if he put that one home. The Kamba at the other end with a silencer. big three for Matthew Kamba, 1 point game, and maybe the last possession before we hit target score time. Mamba looking to add to their 1 point lead. Dunmartin for Bandu, good closeout from Brown into the corner. Townsend for three, yes! Trey Townsend gives the Mamba a 4 point lead. Will they foul here? Dunmartin trying to catch up to Cheney and do just that, and yes, they will get the whistle before the shot. As Townsend with, we've seen that a few times this season, a big three in the late stages, and that one looms large because it gives the Mamba a 4 point lead heading into target score time, Eric.
An absolutely big shot by Trey. He's grown into that role this entire season, becoming that shooter, absolutely deadly from those corners, and hit some big shots throughout this entire season.
Whitehorse fans about to get their first taste of target score time. It's a 4 point lead for the Mamba. Back in a flash, you're watching the Real North Classic on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
Let's bring it on. It's game time. It's showtime.
You gotta love a Canadian boost. Two hands. Oh, what a block from behind.
Next bucket wins. Target score time is the best time of a game. The energy, the drama.
That anything can happen. Oh, my goodness. Can you believe this guy?
Big players step up in big time.
He is cooking.
Fans waving those Canada flags proudly here inside Takini Arena. They were laid out on the seats as they entered the building here tonight, and they have been treated to a barn burner in the first ever professional basketball game here in the Canadian North, and we're in for a thrilling finish too. Target score time is upon us. 96 is the target tonight. So for two teams who have struggled defensively, they're going to keep the points against down, but still a matter of who comes out on top. Still very much hanging in the balance. As we get underway, it's Calgary ball to begin target score. Surge need 13, and the clock has an issue with it here, so we're going to have to pause play. But yes, the Surge need 13. The SWAT, of course, need that 9.
Yeah, this has been an absolute great experience, a great basketball game tonight. I've been fortunate to be able to coach in a number of amazing arenas throughout Canada. This is just another one to add to my list that I've been able to be a part of. You know, hopefully we can come back here.
Well, the Surge certainly would love to come back as the reigning champions of this Real North Classic, which there is going to be a special trophy presentation for the winner here tonight as well after the game, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But some big action before we get there. We've got the issue resolved. Surge with 10 on the shot clock. Here's Cheney into the corner. Puts it up, no good. Bandu with the rebound. Bandu, Dunmartin, Bediako, Chaplin, and Townsend out for Saskatoon. Arms, Cheney, Kamba, Brown, and Ruggsy Miller-Moore for the Surge. TDM cannot get inside. Bandu picks it up. Works his way in, but Brown rejects him. And now Miller-Moore running the floor, puts it up and in. And the Surge get the first points here in target score time, narrowing the gap to a pair. 87-85 Saskatoon. Mamba have had a lot of volatility at this point in the game this season. They've come back from some deficits, but they've also given up some big leads at this point. Here's Tavian Dunmartin for three, and he just hasn't been able to find it here tonight. Now here's Kamba the other way. Count the basket, and that will be number 5 on Jaden Bediako. And Matthew Kamba, the longtime CEBL veteran, will go to the line with a chance to put the Surge in front by 1.
Yeah, Matthew Kamba, a guy who's really outperformed all the expectations coming out of high school in Calgary. I had tried to recruit him to stay in U Sports, but he made a great decision, went and had an awesome NCAA career, and then after that has probably even been a better professional than he was as an NCAA player. He's a guy who's really flourished, had opportunity to play across the world in high level in Spain, going to Granada this fall. It'll be a really great experience for him, and a guy who's just been a consummate professional throughout this, trying to get the Surge back on track.
And certainly as the Surge try to make a late season push into that playoff picture, he's going to be a key voice and also a key influence on the floor, and he's come out here with his actions doing the talking to begin target score. 5 straight for the Surge. They're now leading it by 1, 8 points away from 96. Jalen Williams into the game and into the basket. He's been quiet since the early going, but Jay Will making the most of his shots. And now an offensive, no! Whoa! Looked like a push off there from Arms, but they're gonna call the block. That's on Jameer Chaplin.
Yeah, this is an important
third.
And this is an important one for the Mamba. Just get over it now. Hey, if you don't agree with it, whatever, it's over. Let's go to this sideline, and you have an opportunity here to set up your defense and still get a stop on this possession. At the end of the day, fouls don't matter, points matter, and you got to prevent the points.
Jalen Williams now up to 13 points after that big 3, including 3 of 4 from deep. Those first 2 were back in the first quarter. But a guy who, again, doesn't take a lot of shots, but seems to make an impact whenever he does fire the basketball.
And a unique lineup here with the foul to Jaden Bediako that put him out of the game. The Mamba go back to a smaller lineup here. This smaller lineup was really successful in their comeback in the third quarter. This is an opportunity for them to take advantage. Yes, Javonte Brown has had a major impact on this game, but can the Mamba stretch the floor and force him to get into rotation defensively?
Mamba finds Arms, Chaplin right in his lap. Williams now on the switch, gives the contest. Arms can't hit the 3, but gets a favorable bounce. They move it around to Kamba. He knocks it down. Another 3 for Matthew Kamba. And the Surge back in front by 1, now 5 away from the finish line. Looks like it's gonna come down to whoever has the ball last. I mean, it always does, but you know what I'm saying. Bandu knocked loose by Cheney. Scooped up by Arms, and now Cheney sprinting down the floor. Kicks it out, but Kamba wasn't in the spot that Cheney thought he would be. And a tough sequence there for the Surge, who had a chance to make it 1 possession to the target. Missed opportunity. Can the Mamba take advantage? Jamal Fuller now back in as well for Saskatoon. Again, no Bediako, no Tevian Jones, and Tavian Dunmartin, who's just struggled. He's on the bench as well. Chaplin backing it down. No, and the last 2 shots for Chaplin have not fallen through. Now the Mamba back the other way. High screen from Brown. Arms over to Kamba. Puts it up. No. Battle for the loose ball. Brown finds it, and he draws the foul.
I like what the Surge are doing defensively here. With the change in lineup by the Mamba, Javonte Brown doesn't have a normal matchup that you would expect him to go on. So what do? The instinct would be to put him on one of the bigger players like a Trey Townsend or a Jalen Williams. Instead, they go and put him on Jamal Fuller, one of the younger players, force him to get involved in the action and try to just make the young guy have to make a play. So far, it's been successful for them.
Chaplin picked up that foul. Tavian Dunmartin will take his place on the floor. Javonte Brown at the line. Having a good night from the stripe. Makes the first one. Brown now 7 of 8 from the free throw line tonight, but misses the second one. Big battle for the rebound, and Jamal Fuller comes up with it. Mamba down 2. They're 6 away from the target. Williams, little misdirection. Arms bit on the pass fake, or at least the look off, and Williams will head to the free throw line.
Great move.
Yes, he will.
Great move by Jalen Williams, just been able to sort of calm this down, get into the lane. The shots haven't been falling recently here for the Mamba. Best way to do that is get back to the free throw line where you can get yourself confident.
Very crafty little play there by Jalen Williams. Sold the potential pass just to give himself enough daylight.
And a tough one for the Surge. You're used to having Javonte Brown underneath the rim to sort of clean up some of those times when you get beat off the dribble. But with this lineup for the Mamba, he's forced to guard on the perimeter. You don't have that help at the rim right now.
Williams 85% on the season. Number 2 on the Mamba, just a couple percentage points behind Tavian Dunn-Martin. And a chance to tie it at 92. And he does just that. First to 4 now will win this one.
Yeah, it's a 2-possession game. You just need to get the best shot possible here if you're the Surge. Make it a 1-possession game. That's your only goal right now.
Cheney up top for Ruggsy. Miller Moore to his right, slashes inside. Too strong off the glass, but the Mamba can't secure the rebound. But Miller Moore could not take advantage. And now Bandu, quick up Fuller, show and go, kicks it out. Bandu, open 3, no, batted out by Townsend. Williams swings it over, deflection by Cheney, and a foul over on the sideline. And who's this one gonna be on? It is on Armani Cheney.
That is the 5th team foul here for the Surge. That puts Devontae Bandu, a very good free throw shooter, back at the free throw line. They have the opportunity here to make it a 1-possession game for the Mamba to win it all.
Bandu has missed his only one earlier tonight, but now in this moment, a chance to move the Mamba 1 possession from the target score of 96. Good on the first. And now, regardless of the second, it will be a 1-possession opportunity for the Mamba, and they can defend straight up.
And the goal here for the Surge remains the same. Get the best shot possible. It doesn't need to be a 3, doesn't need to be a 2. Best shot possible, make it a 1-possession game.
Bandu calmly knocks them both down. 94-92, Mamba in front. Surge desperate for a win. They need a bucket here. Cheney working his way through and throws it away. And now the Mamba are going to go to the bench and talk this one over as they look to draw up the winning play here in target score time. Well, if you like this, how about you stay tuned for the next games coming up for these teams. The Surge continue their road trip when they take on CEBL veterans Wayne Notice and the Vancouver Bandits from the Envision Financial Court at the Langley Event Center. You can catch the action live nationally this Sunday at 12:30 Pacific, 1:30 Mountain. Meanwhile, the Mamba will welcome one of the top teams in the Cal Tire Western Conference. As well, it's the Vancouver Bandits who will be in Saskatoon for what could be a playoff preview. Tip-off is on Tuesday night at 7:30 Central. Merlis Belcher plays.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Mamba do here out of the timeout. To see Coach Fox has some questions here for the officials, probably knowing how much time's on the clock and where the ball is going to come in here. But look for the Mamba to be able to attack Javonte Brown. With their smaller lineup on the floor here, it's putting Javonte Brown into a tough position. Look for them to try to get him into a switch or try to get a pop off of it, different things like that. And of course, Coach Dave DeViro is going to be a more veteran coach than me here and sub in a smaller lineup right to take away that advantage. Great coaching here by Coach DeViro, understanding how someone would want to attack
What a treat this has been. The hype has been building, and these two teams have delivered, and now it's come down to this. Mamba with the basketball. All they need is 2 points to win this game. Townsend with the inbound for Fuller. Kama up high, pressuring. Fuller to his left, pulls up, mid-range. Yes! Jamal Fuller, a Real North Classic winner. And the Mamba take this one 96-92. Whitehorse, what do you think of that?
Just an amazing game here by both teams. The effort, the energy was there. We saw contributions by so many different guys on both teams there. Topping it off with Jamal Fuller hitting the winner.
You just never know. The build-up for this game was significant, and how about the way these teams scrapped and clawed from opening tip to the final bucket, and the Mamba come through in the clutch. A huge bucket for Jamal Fuller, coming through to snap the 3-game skid and deliver the Mamba to their 7th win of the season. And for the Surge, the frustrations continue. A lot to like about their performance tonight, but in the end, another loss on the ledger for the Surge, who are seeing their playoff hopes starting to fade very fast indeed.
Yeah, a great game by both teams here. You love to see different people step up. Big opportunities throughout that game. Trey Townsend comes in, gets some big rebounds and big block shots throughout it. Jameer Chaplin having the game of the season so far with 26 huge points. And then Jamal Fuller getting the absolute game winner here. And now we're gonna see the presentation of the first ever Steve Konchalski Legacy Trophy.
So there you go, Eric just mentioned it. It is the Steve Konchalski Legacy Trophy they're about to present here. So we're going to be just a couple of minutes before we get to our Player of the Game interview presented by Booster Juice. But a special game deserves a special post-game ceremony. And we just found out last night, a really cool night last night with both teams coming together, staff, players, and of course supporters and sponsors who have helped put this together. And we found out from Real North co-chair Jason Ribeiro that not only are they going to present this trophy, they've got this handcrafted trophy. We're about to see it here, and it's going to be presented to the Saskatoon Mamba, and of course Steve Konchalski, the Legacy Award. Steve Konchalski, of course, senior advisor for the Surge, but just an incredible resume for one of the real, true coaching legends, not only here in Canada, but in North America.
Yeah, just an absolute legend of a coach. Spent nearly 50 years within that St. FX program. Spent a ton of time with our senior men's national team. He's a huge part of why basketball has grown the way it has. There's a ton of those builders. When you look at the coaching tree across Canada, there's a number of guys who have made massive impacts. Steve Konchalski would be absolutely one of those guys. He's already in our Canada Basketball Hall of Fame.
And the fans ready to storm the court seeking autographs. We might have trouble pulling our Booster Juice Player of the Game out of the pile, but hey, Karina Castellanos is on the scene there to get him out there, and he now joins Salam Valji. Jameer Chaplin, big night as he helps lead the Mamba to victory here in Whitehorse.
Thanks very much, guys. Jameer, they say on the broadcast you don't talk a whole lot, but can you tell me about 26 points, 9 rebounds, and your performance tonight?
I just came in, did what I was supposed to do, play some defense, got some and-ones, got to the bucket, hit a couple of threes, just play my game.
Can you tell me about the emotions of target time and things going back and forth and how you're feeling?
Oh man, target time is a big thing since I came in this league last year. It brings the excitement to the game. Gets everybody's jitters up. I mean, both for the games, the end, like time-wise, and target score is good, but target score is way better.
And last one, Jameer, you're surrounded by fans here in Whitehorse, Northern Canada, loads of kids. Like, what goes through your head when you're seeing all of this all around you right now?
It feels great, when you got the community to come out, especially you guys don't have a pro team up here, it feels great. A lot of kids coming out here. We're going to have some camps tomorrow, and it's going to be fun.
Awesome. Thanks very much. We'll send back to you, Ryan.
Thank you so much, Salim. Great to have you with us here for this one. And how about Jameer Chaplin from Norcross, Georgia, all the way to Whitehorse, Yukon, and he gets the target score winner. Part of, really, you got to say, his signature performance here so far this season, and continuing that great comeback story after that serious injury last year. We'll have more to wrap this one up on the other side of this break as the Saskatoon Mamba pick up the 96-92 victory over the Calgary Surge. One more time here, you're watching CEBL basketball on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
The CDIC was established by the Government of Canada to protect deposits in case of bank failure. Coverage is free and automatic when you bank with a member institution.
Whoa. Thank you. That's my job. So you were saying?
Protecting your deposits, that's what we do.
At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around with free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
The CEBL, Canada's Pro Basketball League, and redtag.ca brings Canadian basketball fans a chance to save up to $300 off on vacation bookings all season long with promo code CEBLFans. I wonder how our mascots would spend their time on vacation. Book today with Red Tag and save $300.
Redtag.ca.
Great scenes here inside Zucchini Arena after a thriller to cap off the very first Real North Classic. Saskatoon Mamba racing a 15-point third quarter deficit to come back and defeat the Calgary Surge 96-92. But before we quickly finish up on the game, Eric, just what we're seeing here is just incredible. We'll get to that in just a quick moment, though. We do want to let you know that the next game across the CEBL is Saturday night when Khalil Ahmad and the Niagara River Lions host the Ottawa Blackjacks at the Meridian Center as the teams are competing for playoff positioning in the Lotto Max Eastern Conference. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. Eastern, and you can catch all the action on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus. But, I mean, it doesn't get more Canadian than this, Eric. I mean, Canada's Pro Basketball League and the fans on the court getting their Canadian flags signed by these players. We've seen the autographs after the games in Saskatoon and Calgary, all across this country, but this is such a cool thing to witness.
Yeah, this is pretty special for me. I grew up in a small town in Saskatchewan, not that much different than Whitehorse here, and my first experience to professional basketball was when the Raptors came to Canada.
Yeah.
And that got me dreaming of what my life could be and the opportunities that exist within it. So cool to see these kids here get this first-hand experience of what professional basketball can be and dream of what their future may be.
Maybe one day the first ever CEBL player from UConn, perhaps, coming from this crowd here tonight. You can build it up, you can plan it out, and then these teams delivered on the floor as well. Just what a treat it's been. But again, to the game itself, a lot at stake, and the Mamba, a very big win for them to put some extra separation between themselves and the Surge. And the Mamba, of course, they want to get up in the standings, but they also want to make sure they're in that playoff picture, and they took a really big step in that regard here tonight with this win.
Yeah, huge step forward here for the Mamba. Obviously puts some separation with the teams behind them, and just as importantly, puts the pressure on the teams ahead of them. There's still a chance for them to host a playoff game, and if nothing else, they want to keep that pressure on Edmonton to try to get into that third spot.
And in a lot of ways, as we get to look at some of the highlights from this one, kind of a microcosm for both teams here, where the Mamba had different guys take the reins at different points in the game. The Surge struggling with inconsistency, looked like they were taking control in the third quarter, but just have not been able to put together a full game really much at all this season. They've only won once, and now they're really in a tough spot. But just in terms of this game, what really jumped out to you quickly about the action that we saw here?
just the energy and effort. You know, it's a hard game for those guys. They've only won one game on this season, but they came out here and they put on a show for these fans. So absolute credit to them for their energy and their effort. They had great points in the game. Unfortunately, when it came to that target time, the Mamba had a much better plan, and they had guys who came through and executed it.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We know the fans here did. And what a pleasure it's been for us to help bring it to you tonight. Can't wait to be back. For now, it's the Mamba heading back to Saskatoon with the win. You've been watching the Real North Classic. Thanks so much for watching, and join us again for more great CEBL action.